Good morning and welcome to a windy but wonderfully splendid morning here in the Sabi Sands, South Africa. My name is Brent Leo Smith. I have Sebastien Rombi from Gabon on the camera with me. Remember, this is 100% live and interactive. Yes, you can ask me questions while I'm on drive, and you can do that by using the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or just pop your question on the feed, whatever feed you might be watching below. And it is, as I said, quite windy this morning, so a good morning for the predators to be active. I'm going to go check to see if young Hosanna, a little male leopard that had a kill just down here yesterday, it was nearly finished, so there's a good possibility him being a greedy guts, he's eaten it all and moved off. So we're just going to have a quick look. Now, I think he might still be around. He's a very alert Nyala, staring down towards where he had the kill. Oh, it's looking very nervous. Now, it might not have seen him. To the left. There we go. It might not have seen him, but it might have smelt him. The wind is gusting this morning, so it's actually a very good morning for hunting. Even though he's got a full belly, if an opportunity arises, he will take advantage of that. Disappearing in Nyala. Oh, we can hear some parrots flying over. Okay, now let's look carefully. So, he had the kill stashed in a little Tamboti thicket up ahead of us yesterday. Okay, so while I scour the African bushveld for a spotted predator, let's send you across to Steve, who's going to say good morrow from Shank's Pony.
Good morrow, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another morning here with us on Safari Live. My name is Steve Fulgenbridge. I'm joined by Craig. He's out on foot for the first time in months and months and months. And we're out on foot in Djuma, in Kruger National Park, South Africa. Welcome. And we are walking. We are going to be seeing if we can find any tracks of female leopards that's got kind of an activity of yesterday morning. We're going to move in that direction. Herbie obviously is on foot with us this morning, and we are tracking and see if we can find something marvelous for you. But please feel free, send through your questions at hashtag Safari Live. It is a beautiful morning unfolding in the African wilderness. It is a little bit windy. There was a promise of rain last night which didn't happen. But the windy conditions and the cool conditions, 19 degrees 61 Fahrenheit, is still on us. It is a nice day. Wonderful to be on foot in the bush. Get your walking shoes on, strap on your backpack with some water, and come and join us for a nice walk. Off we go, Craigo. How nice is it to be back on foot, my friend? He says it's pretty good. I think he's only just waking up to the morning in the bush. I am sure within a couple of hours, as the smells and sounds out here start to sort of roll over him, he's going to feel much more at home again. He's been sitting in the back of a vehicle in the Mara for quite a few months, so it is quite nice to be back on foot, feeling the ground and feeling the air and feeling the grass around our legs. I did ask him to look after the ticks this morning. It's not too bad. We might get some ticks, but it is not as bad as it has been in previous months, I do believe. Okay, so we're going to continue on looking for some tracks of this leopard and all other wonderful things. Let's go to Brent, who's found the last place of Hosanna.
Well, as you can see, no more meat. He's finished it all and no sign of him. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick loop around the area, see if there are any tracks on the roads coming out. Hopefully, with a full belly, he hasn't moved too far. He's lounging atop a termite mound somewhere. So it's difficult with young male leopards because they can often march quite long distances, even with a full belly, and it's been cold and windy. You never know, he might have even caught something else last night. So just going to have a quick check around. We'll go onto Drakensberg Road, head south, and then at Mumba cut up towards Cheetah Cut Line, have a quick dash down Cheetah Cut Line, and hopefully he's popped up somewhere. Now, of course, Steve and I are not the only two out here, and it's going to be the last day for a while that you have 3 boys on drive. So let's go to the last of the 3 boys, one with the biggest beard, Scott Dyson.
Hello everyone, and yes, like Steve says, I am going to be leaving after this morning's drive. My name is Scott and I'm teamed up with Dave on camera. I'm sad to be leaving, but excited to be going to the Mara. So that's and for those of you who weren't on the Sunset Safari, it's quite development, but basically I'm going to be heading up there just to help keep an eye on the camp. James is going to be going on leave and doing a few other little bits and pieces while I'm up there. Sadly, not going to be going live for the time being, but we'll be sure to let you guys know as soon as there are any developments as to what the plans are with that. We've got a beautiful, beautiful scene unfolding here. Look at that. Magical. Now, as I'm sure you've already gathered, it's quite a moody morning here, a bit of a breeze, nice and cool, and looking forward to seeing what this cool weather brings for us. Definitely good prospects for finding some predators on the move, and I'm checking the northern boundary to see if there's any sign of the 3 young male lions that kind of came through Djuma the day before yesterday. We sadly didn't see them, and we haven't seen them yet, so I was hoping I was going to get lucky with some of their tracks, but no joy just yet. But who knows, if not them, maybe the Nkuhuma pride of lion, or Tundi a little bit later on. So lots to look forward to, and looking forward to seeing what the morning holds. Leah, no. Lion scent mark does not smell like the beautiful smell of a leopard's scent mark, which is kind of like buttered popcorn. Well, not kind of, it's almost exactly like the smell of buttered popcorn. So no, I actually haven't picked up any scent from lion's scent mark. I can't smell anything, so there's no scent that we can pick up with our noses, or at least not my nose. But it really is fascinating for those of you who don't know that when leopards do scent mark, it really does smell like freshly buttered popcorn. It's the most bizarre thing, driving through the bush, picking up this smell, stopping the car, finding fresh leopard tracks. It's actually really useful to help kind of get you onto the initial trail, especially on some of the roads where the earth is quite hard and difficult to see tracks on. So, yeah, maybe we'll be able to smell some this morning, and it'll help us lead us to some leopards. We need to drop the clutch. There's something awesome happening on foot, and we're going to rush there, and so are you. Sorry, guys.
Craig just saw a leopard come straight down this marula tree and move off into the bushes there, so we're going to see if we can relocate. I didn't see it at all. Did you see it, Herbie?
Yeah.
We're not sure if it was... There it is, just in the long grass, looking straight at us. Just through these 2 bushes here, Craig, eh? Punch in there. A little bit left. A little bit left. Yeah, there, straight in there. There he goes. Onto the termite mound. Not sure what leopard that is at all, but we've got it just moving around the back of the termite mound. Knowing Hukumuri, he loves termite mounds, but we're looking for a female that was moving in this area yesterday. I don't know if any of you folks saw that. I just saw the image of a leopard just sort of slither from the bushes there just to that termite mound. And it's on top of the termite mound, right on top. Herbie says he can see it looking at us. Yes, right on top in the middle, Craig. That's it there. That's it right there. It's not actually looking at us, it's looking to the right. This is fantastic. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We are here in the African bush in Djuma in the Sabi sands, and we have just bumped a leopard on foot. It's just sitting on top of the Djuma. My name is Steve Falconbridge. I'm joined by Craig on camera. Let's see if you can see it. There's the leopard sitting on top of the Djuma mountain, just behind that moving grass. Please feel free to send your comments in below. It's not looking at us, it's looking away. I wonder if you can see it nicely on the camera there. Just see the ears, just hiding there in the long grass. This is fantastic. We're about 200 meters from camp. Craig saw this thing slither down from the tree, big marula tree. I hadn't seen it. It slithered across. It's just sitting on top of the Djuma mound there. Doesn't seem to be too bothered with us at the moment. It's looking off to the right-hand side. I can't even tell if it's a male or female. I have no idea. This is a leopard. This is live. This is happening right in the moment. Yes, Dina, this is absolutely fantastic. We just left camp first thing in the morning. The sun's just starting to rise behind us, and the slithering, sleeky leopards of Djuma have already made themselves known to us. And this is Craig's first walk back on foot in Djuma in months and months. Sarah, I have no idea what leopard this is at the moment. I have no idea. I mean, I'm looking through my binoculars because I can't really see it very well with the camera. It looks like it's a male, but it's very hard to say right now. I'm going to ask Herbie what he thinks, but I don't think he got a good look either. Sassy says Craig's got bird eyes, eagle eyes. Of course you do, Craigo. Welcome back to Djuma. Hey, what are the chances? 200 meters from camp. Leopard on foot. Isn't that marvelous? Absolutely sensational. He doesn't seem to be too bothered with us. By the way he or she moved from the tree, it seemed as if it wasn't relaxed, but he's not looking at us. He's not too concerned. It looks to me like it might be Hukumuri, but I'm not going to put my faith in that because I can't really see. I don't know what your guys' views back home are on the camera. Craig, how's it looking there? Not very clear. Hey? He's just hiding there in the long grass on top of the termite mound. Absolutely fantastic start to our morning. We are obviously not going to try and chase this animal on foot. Rather call one of the other game viewers to come in. They can view it quite safely with the vehicle. We're probably about 45 meters away from this animal. Dill, they blend in perfectly. Absolutely disappears on top of the mound there, and he thinks he's invisible to us, but I find it so amazing that he's not concerned by us on foot. Many of the leopards in the past that I've walked, many of the leopards that I've sort of seen on foot, especially if it's windy like this, they just disappear, absolutely disappear. And if they don't disappear, they'll hide in the grass and look at you. I've never been able to spend time looking at the back of a leopard's head while on foot. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're not sure what's going to happen here or what's going to unfold, but from an on-foot perspective, this is about as close as we're going to get. If you'd like to watch more of the live action, please feel free. Google us, Safari Live, come back. I'm sure there'll be a vehicle in the sighting in only a few minutes or so. We better get proper visuals of that animal. But from us on foot, we're going to move out of the area. Thank you for joining us and have a fantastic morning. They frame us. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We've got, I'm not sure who this is. I think Brent is coming in to join us live. He's going to be with us shortly. We can hear his vehicle. I have no doubt. Looks like Scotty D. Scotty, I'm just pointing to the termite mound. He's on top of the termite mound. Scotty, here comes Scott in from the back. He's got his roof on. We were potentially had rain yesterday. He's looking at us now, or she. I can't tell who it is, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely beautiful. Looks like a female to me now. Scotty, just on top of the termite mound, my friend. Tell us who that is. What a fantastic way to start the day. This is unbelievable. Folks, we're going to go over to Scott. He's going to get first-hand visuals. Let's go over to him.
Well, we've got some exciting news, everyone. We've just got into position, and well done to Steve and Herbie on finding this female leopard. I don't recognize her at first glance. It looks like it could be the Xidulu female, and we're hopefully going to get you some great views of them. And, oh, no, I haven't gotten the best spot here, have I? Let me move the car a tiny bit. That's going to be a bit better, and hopefully we're going to be able to see the perspective of what the bushwalk team is looking in on. So let Steve know that we're going to be spying on him. Bex, can we see them on the other side of the mound? No, they're hidden by the mound. Oh no. I really was hoping that we'd be able to get you a view of them. They're literally just on the other side. And I wonder if this is the Xidulu female. Who are you? I don't know exactly. She looks like quite a young female to me, actually. So I'm going to need your guys' help. Please send through any thoughts as to who you think she is. No wild guesses, preferably. But she's got a very distinctive spot pattern above her whiskers. I wonder, now we did have tracks of a female leopard in this area yesterday. Maybe it's her. I'm wondering if it's possibly not Barbara, a young female leopard who was is almost, what has she seen there now? She's definitely not looking at the bushwalk team. I think she's looking at some food. What a beautiful scene this is on the mound with all those grass seeds blowing in the wind around her. Wonderful. I'm guessing she's spotted something out in that direction that she might want to snack on. So yeah, maybe I wonder if it's not Barbara or possibly the Xidulu female, another female that we've seen a couple of times in this kind of western portion of Djuma, but not too many times just yet. So I think I've only actually seen her once. Now, very good prospects for her hunting in this windy conditions, because it's going to make it easier for her to sneak up on her prey. I'm so sad we couldn't get that 2 shots of the bushwalk team. Michael, Andrew, and James, you saying, is this not Xidulu? Well, I don't know, but it could well be. It could well be. I just want to try and skirt ahead. This is going to be beautiful watching her slink through this long grass. Hold on, everybody. It's going to require me to just race around a little bit. No holes, please. No tree stumps, please. Looking good for now. Looking good for now. Okay. Now, I can't see anything, but she, I think, knows that there's something up ahead here. And again, we're going to get some beautiful views. She's on a mission, slinking through this long grass. How cool is this? What have you sensed in here? Epic stuff. I'm just going to call in on the Game Drive radio just to keep everyone updated as to what this leopard's up to. Stations, this female leopard is slowly mobile north towards the power lines from Zoe's. Wonderful. What have you seen in there? I've still got no idea. We're just going to have to kind of be patient in situations like this. And that's really interesting. I've just heard another update saying there's tracks of another female leopard in this area. And that's from Herbie and Steve on the bushwalk. So maybe that's what's going on. Maybe there's a dispute between two leopardess, or who knows, maybe this is young, not Barbara, trying to keep an eye on her mother's shadow, who may have gone off hunting ahead of her. A few possible options. Imagine if we see two leopardess kind of trying to work out their differences and lay claim to this area. It's a bit of a kind of unknown at the moment as to exactly who the dominant female is of this portion of Djuma. There have been a few recent shifts, mainly between the males. There's a new male pushing in to the area, pushing the old dominant male out, and that also will cause some females to kind of move out of the area, especially if they've got youngsters. They'll move out because they don't want that new male to cause any harm to them. So it may have opened up a little bit of a hole for another female to slip into. Well, I couldn't have hoped for a better way to be spending my last drive for the next little while here at Djuma than with a female leopard on the move. Maureen, you would like to know, how do you tell the difference between the various leopards that we see out here? And basically, I mean, all of their spot patterns are different. And some people are really good at just looking at the leopards and noticing the subtle differences in the spots and the way the patterns are made up. But yeah, you can look at basically any section of spots on a given leopard and be able to determine whether or not it is that leopard by just looking at old photographs and kind of double checking. She's gone up onto a termite mound to get a bit of a vantage point now, so this is going to be another beautiful scene. And I'm told that there is a large majority of our wonderful viewers that are agreeing that it is the Xidulu female. So through democratic votes, we'll stick with that for now, unless anybody can provide us with some conclusive evidence that it is in fact her. Well, lots of action going on. I've just heard over the game drive radio that there's tracks of a male leopard heading along our northern boundary from kind of Buffelshoek Dam. Could well be a male called Djuma. He likes to move along that kind of route or pathway. I'm really surprised that there are tracks of another female that Herbie's got you, unless she's been kind of up and down hunting in this area. Hard to be certain that it isn't guaranteed another female, but even yesterday we did have definitely tracks of two females that converged on one another. And she definitely is looking quite nervous. Maybe it's the wind. Maybe it's the fact that she's hungry and not wanting to take any chances that she's looking so focused. Whew. Well, what an exciting start to the day. We had to drop the clutch to rush over here. And why don't we send you guys back on to Steve so you can give him and Herbie another round of applause for their great work this morning. And they've also would like to show you the other set of tracks that they're busy looking at.
Yeah, thanks very much, Scotty. Give Craig a round of applause. My head was on the ground having a look at tracks when Craig said, "Oh, we just saw a leopard skink down the tree." So here's the tracks of a female. Here's the back pad, and there's the toes there. She's walking very quickly in this direction. So we're not sure if this is the same female, but there were definitely tracks of a second individual moments ago on the same sort of area. So we're not sure who it is. I would not presume to know who the leopards are here by their tracks. But I believe some of you are saying Xidulu female. I could probably agree with that, but I could just see her through the long grass with my binoculars. We didn't get great visuals on the bushwalk camera, but what a start to the day here in Djuma. We are super excited. If that's how our morning is going to start, can you imagine how the rest of the day is going to go? So Herbie got back. He's had a couple of days off for an injured leg. He got back, and I explained to him yesterday, this is where Scott had tracks. This is what was going on yesterday. This is who we'd seen. And Herbie's like, okay, let's walk along Zoe's road and this way. And this is Zoe's road. We walked onto Zoe's road, just off onto the tree line, and that's where we spotted the leopard. 2 minutes into bushwalk. He is a magician. Unbelievable. That's just in the mind, a feeling, a gut feeling. It's very hard to explain that thing, folks. But that's how he feels, and that's how he operates with leopards out here. So we're going to keep walking on this way. We've lost tracks of that second female. There's only one of them here at the moment, but we're going to keep going because this is going to be a very nice day. If it starts off with leopard in the first 2 minutes, what a way to send Scotty off to the Mara. So let's go see if Brent's had as much luck as we've had.
Well, I definitely haven't had as much luck as Stephen and Herbie. I'm busy checking now for Hasana. The last direction he went was southwest, so I think he might have made his way towards the Mawati. We found tracks of Tundi. Unfortunately, she crossed east into Torchwood, so I'm hoping Hasana's headed towards Twin Dams, and then I'll meander maybe across to Chitwa if we have no further luck. And I've got a feeling Hasana's tracks are going to pop up in the Mawati. But other than that, no, unfortunately very quiet. So did we find out which leopard was it not Barbara? I'm dying to know. The one thing about this oh, apparently it's Xidulu. Sure, I haven't seen Xidulu for a very long time. I saw her twice on the Buffelshoek boundary, but that was a long, long time ago. Now, Xidulu is one of those leopard names that is very confusing. And Xidulu means termite mound, and I think I've known of about 25 different Xidulus in the Sabi sands alone. Mina's asking, will a dominant female leopard in a territory kill another female's cubs? If they find them, yes, most definitely. It's removing competition from the area. But what happens, it's not normally the dominant female that does that. It'll be a new female, an interloping female. So, for example, if Xidulu happened to find Shadow's cub, she would kill it. That happens far more frequently than a dominant female killing another dominant female's cubs, because of course they're quite set in their territories. Now it is always interesting, and the one thing you have to know is that as soon as you think you've got everything, oh hello kudus, everything absolutely sorted. Oh, don't run away. It's this windy weather. The general game are quite nervous. So you probably just see some ears. There we go. Some big ears there hiding behind the bush. So when you've got this windy weather like this, the kudu, the nyala, the impala are going to be quite jumpy because their senses are a little bit under pressure. So the wind's gusting, so it's not coming from one direction. So they've got to rely very, very heavily on their ears, eyes, and noses. You can see it. Is it dangerous? Is it not? What is it? Don't worry, we're not trying to eat you, little kudu. But you can probably hear that wind gusting through the trees around. Yes, shame. Nervous, so I'm not going to spend too much time. Let it move off. So, in this weather, it's good weather for the big cats, not so good if you're a kudu. Okay, let's have a look quickly, see if there are any tracks here. Nope. So, I think Asana would have gone down that little drainage line system, the little river system, and then come through, down, and hopefully all the way to the Mawati. Now, while I still search for my first cat of the day, Scott's still with the mystery female leopard, or is it Xidulu?
Yes, we still are. She's been giving us a bit of a runaround. There was a duiker that she spotted and ran off after, but it seemed like the duiker got the better of her. We actually lost her in the long grass, but the other vehicle that has joined us in this sighting helped us to relocate her. And I'm feeling lucky this morning. She is on a mission, and again, in this strong wind, she's got very, very favorable hunting conditions. Very difficult for the prey to detect her slinking up on her, both her audio of her footsteps as well as any visuals of her body, because with all the grass blowing in the wind, her movement will be kind of masked by that. She's a beautiful female, very distinctive scar next to her right eye, so that would be something that you could look at to try and make sure that it is the Xidulu female from any previous sightings of her. Or you could always check out their Facebook page. Often there's quite a few of our stars of the Sabi Sands have got their own Facebook page, so if you took a screenshot of her now and compared that to any pictures or any other pictures of them, you could very quickly work out and confirm that it is her. Now, another thing you could look at is just above her kind of whisker line on her. Oh, well, now it's going to be tricky because she's moving, but it looked like she's got a 5-5 spot pattern. It looks like there's 5 spots on the right-hand side of her muzzle and 5 spots on the left-hand side of her muzzle, just above those main black dotted lines that the whiskers poke out of. Beautiful. So she's obviously trying to work out where this dyke has gone. I've got no idea. But I think that's what she's trying to work out. Oh, well, thanks very much, Judy, who's just confirmed that the Xidulu female does have a 5-5 spot pattern. Well, then it's looking more and more likely then that we are, in fact, or you guys are all correct, those of you who guessed it to be the Xidulu female. Now, I'm thinking what we're going to try and do is... There's just a tiny little gap, Darby. It looks like she might be stalking. She's just stopped just over there. Well done. But again, she'll be getting confused with all the wind and the rustles. She won't know if the rustles she's hearing is an animal she's wanted to stalk or merely the leaves blowing in the wind. As I was saying, I think we might try and actually take off our roof. It seems like the weather's clearing. There was a few spots of rain before we headed out. And if she does continue off into this thicker vegetation, it's going to be tricky for us to actually follow her with the roof on. So I think we might actually just back up out of the sighting quickly while we've still got a chance to. And we don't want to interfere in whatever it is she's getting up to. And Davy and I will take off this roof, get it out the way. Putting my hand out to see if I'm not feeling any tiny little drops of rain, and I think I might be, but it's nothing too serious. So I think we'll be able to... It'll make sense to take the roof off. El Toro, you'd like to know why is it that the Sabi Sands is such a great place for leopard viewing? Well, I mean, it's a good habitat for them in terms of the vegetation, lots of food as well, lots of good trees for them to kind of run up and hide in. The marula tree is a perfect tree for them to escape into, to hoist their kills into. So yeah, there's a few good reasons, I guess, as to why it's a great place to view leopards. But the most important thing is that they are habituated to the vehicles, so they are relaxed with our presence and actually allow us to view them before they slink off like they do in a lot of other areas. Okay, very good. We're going to take the roof off quickly, and while we do that, we're going to send you across to Steve. Yours, we're just going to take our roof off.
Thank you, Scotty. Yes, the leopards are habituated to vehicles and seemingly also to us on foot. I think what happened, because all we saw was, or all Craig saw, was a fluid motion of a leopard half come down the tree, stop, and then come down the tree. And then we saw it hiding in the long grass. That's when we went live, when you came to us. And Craig was trying to frame it, and as we were trying to frame it, it slinked off. And as it got behind the long grass on the termite mound, it believed it was invisible, and so completely relaxed again. for me, that's just unbelievable stuff to see on foot. A leopard moving off like that, relaxed, just linking off just to do exactly what leopards do. Most of the other leopard sightings I've had on foot in my life, that link as they come down the tree, they're gone. That's normally the case. But in fact, what it is they're just hiding there in the long grass and you can't see them again. And to go further will invoke them to either run away or potentially give you a bit of a warning. So what a way for Craig to start his bushwalk career once again here at Djuma. Absolutely marvelous. Craig, did you wear your lucky pants this morning? your lucky rabbit's foot. So Herbie's just got some. I said to him, how did you know? He said, you just know, the females walk this way and they walk that way and this is where they go, and when you know the area. Of course. Isn't that the obvious answer? Let's choose an area to work, and within 2 minutes of walking, we find a leopard up a tree. I mean, that is just about as picturesque as you get. What tree was it, folks? Yes, of course, the favorite tree of the leopard, the big marula tree. The elephant's favorite, our favorite, everyone's favorite, it seems. So nice to have been out in the African wilderness. We got a nice marula tree there. That's the kind of example just up ahead. That is the tree you find leopards in. Those of you who watched my segment last night will remember me sitting up in nice marula. It gives you a nice sort of vantage point over the environment. And often where we are there, Zoe's Road comes from our camp just off from Quarantine, which is that big open area. We often have lots and lots and lots of Impala. And when we came out this morning, there was not a single animal out there. So that probably should have been sign enough to tell us that there's definitely something lurking around. And when the wind is blowing like this, these predators are at their absolute optimum and prime when it comes to hunting. So looks like Scotty's managed to take off his roof. Let's go back to him and see if he's managed to relocate that beautiful cat.
Yes, we've thankfully got our roof off and we are back with this lovely female leopard who I'm really looking forward to spending the morning with. She's still kind of slinking about here, trying to work out where this small antelope called a duiker is headed off to. But as much as these conditions are favorable to the leopard in many regards, with regards to the hunting, it can also be a little bit tricky with not trying to work out where her food has run off to. And it'd be interesting to know if she's trying to follow the scent trail or if she's just going on her gut feeling. But very, very nice area for her to be slinking through. Okay, now if any of you guys are joining for the first time, if you've just stumbled upon us, I must reiterate that we are live and that you can also interact with us. So please send through questions or comments or thoughts as to how you're feeling. I'm feeling very excited and very lucky that we've got off to such a wonderful start on the safari. I haven't been listening to too many of the updates because I've been racing around, and I'd be surprised if Hosanna, the leopard that Brent is for, has finished that kill. I popped in there late yesterday evening and it seemed like there was a decent remaining to, enough for him to still be there in the morning finishing off the scraps. But it doesn't sound like Brent's had any luck just yet. To be honest, I'm secretly hoping for him not to get distracted with Hosanna and be able to... Oh no, I did hear an update. I think he said Tundi crossed out. I was hoping he was going to get lucky and try and track down Tundi, because he hasn't seen her and her little cut. So I was hoping that he was going to get lucky with that this morning, as I'm sure a lot of you were as well. Be truthful, you'd like to know how far away are we from kind of Tundi and Cub and where we last saw them. Well, let me show you on the map quickly, because that'll be the best way to explain things. So the big white area is Djuma, and Tundi's been hanging around this area of Djuma, the eastern half of it, and further east into a property where we cannot traverse, and also further south and it's another area where we cannot traverse. So this is the kind of area, this whole western front. Whereas here with the Xidulu female, she only spends time on the eastern side. And the first time we saw her was here with Tristan on the southeastern corner, and now we are currently up over here in this area. So quite far away from where Thandi and her cub are. This is actually a very similar area to where we saw Thandi and Shadow when Thandi was trying to steal Shadow's kill. They're two sisters actually. Yeah, she's coming back to you there, it looks like. Just keeping the other vehicle updated as to what she's doing so it doesn't unnecessarily kind of come off road or go into the wrong spot. Oh, seems like we've just got stuck on this little stump temporarily there. Okay. So yeah, that's quite interesting, I guess, that Thandi and Shadow were both seen in this same area not so long ago. Dina, you'd like to know if there's a kind of dispute between female leopards. Will the females salivate, kind of like the males do when they get worked up? I guess, yes, there will be times when they are very worked up that they will salivate and kind of froth at the mouth. It's not something that I've ever seen, though. But that's because I've never seen female leopards interacting and fighting with one another. So yeah, I think that's definitely a reality as to what could happen. Just trying to work out which our best route is now. I mean, I'm trying to think back to when Thandi and Shadow were together, like I said, not far from here. But there was no salivating, even though they were quite worked up, so to speak. But I guess maybe because they're sisters, they weren't feeling as kind of worked up as they could have been had they have not known one another. Very good. Well, I know, like I said, I haven't seen the female leopards fighting, but why don't we send you across to Steve if he's been so lucky?
Definitely seems to be the discussion of this morning. The leopards. We are walking still through the bush. Haven't found too much of interest. It's quite windy. The animals have all moved away. But to answer your question, sorry, watch out, Craigie. Let me help you there. Craig's got a massive aerial on the back. Just move out the way there. And he's gone and caught himself in a bush. It's very difficult to be able to look through the viewfinder and follow me and walk through here, but that is what we do. These are experts, and he can do that and then spot leopards on the top of trees. So, Scotty, no, I have not ever seen female leopards fighting. I've actually never even seen male leopards fighting. I've seen two male leopards sort of poised on opposite sides of a road on two rocky boulders, kind of like growling at each other and drooling, but never actually physically seen the fight. I've heard some in the distance, but I've never managed to actually physically witness that behavior. So we're looking for all sorts of interesting things this morning. It is a beautiful morning out in the African wilderness, and I wonder if Brent will manage to relocate on Asana from last night. I mean, his kill is still up the tree, I think I heard them say that. But it's very windy. This is the day and the time that leopards opportunistically move around looking for everything great and small with regards to food. And it's possible Hassan has maybe just killed something else and has hoisted up another tree, because as you do when it's windy, you make hay while the sun shines, the proverbial hay. Could be meat in this case. You hear a nediki calling in the background, just that. See if you can hear it. The Cape turtle dove is calling. The nediki stopped calling. Ernest, it's not a golf club. It works beautifully like a golf club, though. It has got a very nice swing, but it's actually just my walking stick. But I do like to swing at things from time to time, but it's not a golf club. I actually played a bit of golf on my leave. It was marvellous fun. Marvellous fun. Played with some friends. You get through there, Craigo. We are in the bush, folks. This is a marvelous morning. Hopefully we can find something for you soon. But it looks like Scott and Xidulu has seen something. Let's go over to him and see if there's any action.
Well, all we can see is that she has seen something. We haven't seen a thing, but you can see the way she's slinking around, that she feels that there's something in there, maybe a scrub hare. I wonder, but she's certainly doing a great job slinking through the grass, and she could pounce at any second. So be ready for that. What is going on in there? Or is it just the rustling wind that's confused her? Now again, I'm not too sure exactly what's going on here, but let's give it a moment or two to see if we can't work out what exactly it is. Kind of torn whether we should invite on some extra passengers to enjoy this excitement, or if it would be a bit of a false alarm. Let's take a gamble. Let's invite on board some other people, just so we can share the magic here. And I guess the bottom line is she's slinking through the glass, and she could pounce on whatever it is that she's detected here at any moment. Hello everyone, welcome to this live safari broadcast. We are coming to you from South Africa in the Sabi Sands. As you can see, there's another vehicle enjoying this leopard sighting with us. It's a female leopard who we've been with for about half an hour, and we've got a feeling she's hunting something in the long grass. Here she comes towards us now. She's been sneaking around this bush, sniffing and listening very carefully, and we're not too sure exactly what it is she's detected. But it's wonderful hunting conditions. Because of this windy morning, it allows her to sneak around with less chance of being detected, both by her footsteps being heard, as well as any of her kind of movements slinking through the grass will be masked by the grass blowing in the wind. We don't know this female leopard too well. She's new to this area. She seems to be establishing her territory here in the kind of western portions of our reserve, and as you notice, she walked right behind that other vehicle. She's not concerned by us, and that's because of lots of very gentle habituation of these animals over many, many years. It's allowed them to be comfortable with the fact that we are just spectators. We don't get in the way, we don't hurt them, we don't feed them, we don't help them, and by doing that, it has allowed us the most incredible insights into their lives. I've just heard a very exciting update over the radio that 3 male lions are not too far from here, and it looks like they could be thinking about hunting a herd of buffalo. So I'm hoping our other vehicle that's out this morning, Brent, has copied that update, because he needs to race over there to make sure we try and cover as much action as possible. It's actually interesting because it's 3 young male lions that we've never actually seen before. They too, like this female leopard, are quite new to the area, and are also probably trying to establish themselves a territory here. Angela, you would like to know, what is she hunting? And we saw a small antelope moving through this area earlier called the duiker. It's about half the size of her, and it might be what she's still looking out for. However, like most predators, they'll take whatever opportunities present themselves to her, because it's difficult for them to catch their prey, and she'll take a variety of different prey species down, mainly antelope, but even birds, reptiles like big lizards, snakes. So very adaptable, very versatile hunters. Sarah, you would like to know which leopard is this, and she's a leopard known as the Xidulu female, and a Xidulu is a termite mound, and she obviously likes lounging about on the termite mounds, and that's exactly where the bushwalk team actually found her on foot this morning, and then we raced her in the vehicle to establish the sighting. So, very exciting stuff. Joan, you'd like to know, why do leopards have that white spot on the back of their ears as well as kind of the back of their tail? And there's a number of kind of theories. One of them is that it's a follow me signal for any of her youngsters that are following behind her as she walks through the bush. Every time her ears flick, and also that little white tip of the back of her tail means it's easy for them to kind of follow her as she moves. I'm not hugely convinced by that theory, because I think the youngsters will be capable of following, and I just think it's through default that her whole undercarriage is white, even her belly and the underside of her tail, and it's simply because there's not a major necessity for it to be dark, because that part of her body while she is stalking is not really visible. Well, we're going to give you guys one more view of her, seeing as though she's no longer stalking whatever we thought she was in a little bush earlier. And if you'd like to continue following the safari, you're welcome to just Google Safari Live. We're still going to be out for a couple of hours this morning, and it's wonderful to have as many of you guys on board as possible. So feel free to hop on board. Otherwise, just keep tuned in to the notifications for the next exciting update that we will send to you live from the African wilderness. We'll see you next time. Okay, guys. Well, we need to rush you across to Steve. He's got something that's trying to flee the scene.
Yes, we do. A walking frog. We've got a little, and the smallest that I've ever seen. Sorry about the silence there, folks. We are back with you, though, and we are live. And look at what we found. We found a little walking frog known as a bush-veld rain frog, and it is the smallest one I have ever seen in my entire life. They don't hop like normal frogs do. They walk through the wilderness, and their tracks are actually quite characteristic because of the way they walk. And their call goes, let me see if I can do it. Is he going to call back? I don't think so. I think he's too small. But anyway, what is so amazing about these guys is that they are quite a fat and round frog. So when it comes to mating, they're not able to wrap their front legs around the female in many of the typical frog kind of clasps. Because frogs, they fertilize the eggs externally, so the female, as she lays the eggs, a male is kind of holding onto her back, and while he does that, he's able to fertilize the eggs that as they come out. And what the males in these bushveld rain frogs do, as he disappears into the bushes there, let's see if we can open him up again. What they actually do is they adhere themselves to the back of the female's back with a type of glue, and only once he's mated and he's done all of his reproduction and fertilizing of the eggs does he put the anti-glue on to let himself go. So until that point, they're kind of stuck together like plastered, because he doesn't have the arms to go around. But he's hiding in here. Let's see if we can just coax him out here again. Where did it go, Kruger? He was so camouflaged. Okay, well, that's the way it works. Poor guy has disappeared into the bushes here. Let's leave him to his wanderings. So with Craig's unbelievable eyesight, he saw that leopard. He wasn't able to see the frog as we nearly stepped on it, but I got it. We saved him, and we got a good... Little Al wants to know, do they have predators? Are you talking about the frog? Yes, there are lots and lots of predators out here, mainly snakes. Snakes really enjoy frog, and as that frog moves around, it leaves kind of like a chemical signature on the ground, and the snakes will sort of slither around and flick their tongue out, and they'll be able to follow that signature quite clearly to wherever that frog might be. He was very, very camouflaged. All sorts of small birds as well. Oh, not small birds, stalks, ground hornbills, even normal hornbills will walk through the wilderness here and just pick up whatever they can. But being quite camouflaged, he's quite protected against birds. That is the idea. And because the name rain frog, they come out after rain. And in cultural traditions in South Africa, the frogs that you see after rain are actually the bringers of good fortune and good luck. So we've already had the fortune and the good luck seeing the leopard, and the frog has just gone and basically signified that once again. Isn't that marvelous? What a start to the day, Craigo. Things are working out beautifully. I can't believe how small he was. Did you see him? He was the size of my fingernail. It's just too cute. Just take a deep breath. Just take it all in. Chat for the whole, Craigo. Okay, so Scott's officially got his roof off. He's back on drive and he's managed to relocate. Xidulu, let's go over there and see what's happening.
Not too sure why Steve thought our roof was back on, but it isn't. Not that it makes a huge difference. So this leopardess is slinking through. Ooh, I'm going to get a great two-shot here. She's heading straight towards a kudu, actually. There's a kudu just behind her in the thickets. Now it's a very, very big antelope. That would be far too big for a female leopard to take down. There she is. But maybe she's got a youngster here somewhere nearby. And that would certainly be suitable prey for this leopard. I wonder if there are any youngsters here. Now for now the kudu doesn't know that she's here. Look at her little tail twitching with excitement. I don't even know if the leopard knows that the kudu's here yet either. But the leopard seems to be looking at something closer by in the grass. Put your tail down, otherwise you're going to get spotted. Oh no, the kudu's going to spot you with your tail up like that. And then we'll expect to hear some loud barking alarm calls. Put your tail down. Oh. Yeah, I'm almost certain the kudu is going to spot her imminently. Let me reverse a little bit. Oh, the leopard went running off after something in the opposite direction towards where the kudu went. And we have got our work cut out for us now. The kudu are alarming wildly at the leopard. I'm trying to find a little gap where we can try and snipe in through this thick bush to try and catch up with the leopard. But it's going to be tricky. The fact that the kudu are still alarm calling is making me wonder if she didn't maybe actually catch one. There's a chance maybe she singled out a youngster. The kudu are alarming quite persistently. And you tend to find that when a predator does catch member of a herd, that their alarm calls will be definitely more intense than if the predator misses. So who knows, maybe she did get lucky. She ran quite a long distance bounding through the long grass. Let's just stop here for a second. Listen to that kudu. Boom. Okay, no sign of the leopard immediately. Let me keep moving though. I've got a feeling I know where we've got to get to. And it's around this big thicket over here. This is where we last kind of saw heading in towards. Oof. It's a tricky spot this. There's massive logs everywhere. But we should be able to make it. Oh, no. Maybe not as easily as I thought. They're all good, we've made it through. Chitty Chatty Megs, you'd like to know where is this female from? I'm not actually too sure where she's from. I don't know too much about her history nor how old she is, so if any of you would like to send through any info on that, it would be hugely appreciated. Why are these kudu still barking? Has she got lucky? Or is it just that she's still slinking around them? I'm going to try and catch up with those kudu. They're just around the corner here, and wherever they are looking will be obviously where they think she is, where she could still be. Please don't have given us the slip. I was really hoping on spending the entire morning with you. Huh. Not looking too promising for now. And somebody who would have been able to move far more swiftly and effectively through the thick bushes, Steve, on his own 2 feet, and that's where we're going to be sending you guys now.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Scotty. We are moving swiftly through the wilderness here, trying to keep our eyes and ears wide open as the leaves and foliage are moving, and we feel like the kudu being stalked by the leopard. What I've found here is a pile of elephant dung, and these holes that you see here are where the marula fruits were that a squirrel has probably come along and plucked out. Here you can see the skin in my fingers of a piece of the marula skin. But quite often in rhino dung or elephant dung out of season, when I mean out of marula season, these little holes would indicate where a dung beetle has actually made a ball and rolled it up and rolled it away. But I've been paying attention the last couple of weeks and seeing how many of these holes there are, and exactly like that marula fruit would have been in a hole like that. And the squirrel would have come along, grabbed it out of the hole. That's why it's got that perfect little dimension in the dung. He didn't find this one though. It's lost its smell. The elephant dung I played with the other day smelled really strong and sweet. This is not as fresh. But you see, he doesn't get too much, or she doesn't get too much of the flesh. But it's a little bit old. There's still a nice kernel inside there. Be able to get the nut out. But we'll leave it here for the squirrel and whatever else might be happening. Let's have a little turnover of this dung. That's quite hard. I wonder if there's anything exciting happening inside. More marula fruits. There we go. You can always tell what time of year elephant dung is by the composition of the dung. And this was very wet when it fell down. If I dig here, it's very hard. The sand is really moving in. Termite activity, dung beetle activity, very hard. But because of the marula fruits, you know what time of year it was. But as the dry season starts to come on, the elephants are going to start feeding on less grass and more trees and twigs. So this is going to start turning into more of a sort of orangey tannin sort of structure. Here you can see some bark or some wood the elephant has been feeding on. We know that this is marula season because of the marula fruits, so it's possible that maybe just a bit of indigestion or maybe a little bit of heartburn or anything that the elephant might be feeling a bit of bark. But the primary food that's going on in this dung is definitely the dominant grass. So marvelous. Let's cover this back up again. Let's make sure that these whatever's living in there is going to continue. Rampaging elephant. I'd love to find you some elephants. We are always in the search of the big and hairies, and on foot elephants are magnificent. Did you hear that? We just heard some elephants making a hell of a noise from over there, so let's go follow up. Let's see. It's a little bit far off. The wind is blowing towards us, so who knows? We might be quite lucky. Rampaging elephant, let's go and find you some elephants. We have got the luck on our side today. We do have the luck on our side. Herbie has heard the sounds as well. Did you hear the Ellie's, Herbie? He's heard them. He's heard them. We're going to move on into that direction. It did sound quite far away. Not quite sure exactly how far. The wind can be quite deceptive on a day like this. It can carry sounds much further than you think. But with my one ear, I was able to hear it, which means it's not that far away. Even Craig was like, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Don't think he's had elephant on foot in some time. Craig, when was the last time? It's been a while, he says. Well, I think for Craig to get elephant and leopard on foot in the first morning, maybe it'd just be an absolutely fantastic start to the day. Huge trail walking through the grass here. Potentially of an elephant. Not very fresh. Have to pick up on some tracks. Just mind your head there, Craigo. This is old sign of elephant, the primary, what they're feeding on this time of year. Not very fresh. Plucking the grass off. Feeding on the inflorescence on the top. You can see how he's just chewed it off there. And then drops it on the ground. Not very fresh. It's a few days old. It's already gone nice and dry. And then also a little bit of a red bush willow that's plucked off of the branch. Just to feed on some of the cambium and the bark there. And once again, more organic material. Just the drop on the floor to aid in the succession of everything that happens out here. Herbie, how far away do you think are those ellies, eh? How far do you think? 80 meters or so. 80 meters? How's that for a guess? Are we going to keep going in this direction? See if we can find them. Let's find them, Herbie. Herbie's keen. He likes elephant on foot. Okay, so we're going to go over to Scott while we see if we can sneak up on these big jumbos. Let's go to Scotty and see what his leopard's up to.
Oh, well, that's some exciting prospects for Steve. Imagine finding a leopard on foot to start your morning and then having the joy of snooping around a herd of elephants. We've had no joy relocating old Xidulu after she went tearing off after possibly a young kudu or maybe some other antelope that were nearby those kudu. And I'd just like to show you kind of on the map what's happened here. Initially she was found over here, and then her direction of movement's been north, across Vuyatela access, and it was just after she crossed this road that she went darting off into the bush into kind of this direction over here. Now, the only road that's nearby towards where she was kind of roughly heading is Aubrey's Road. So we've driven around and we're probably waiting somewhere on this little corner here. Just hoping that she may continue in this general direction and pop out here. There's a nice big termite mound that she could come and use as a vantage point. So yeah, rather than kind of wildly just off-roading frantically with the very slim chance of finding her, I thought maybe it would be better just to kind of stay put here and listen, and hopefully we'll get lucky with some audio of other animals alarm calling at her as she goes about her business, or maybe we'll just get lucky as she continues in this general direction. I haven't heard any further updates as to what exactly is going on with these 3 young male lions and a herd of buffalo that I told you about briefly. I think Brent is trying to get into that area, but it is just north of our northern boundary. We would have been able to snipe some views from our northern boundary, but it all depends on exactly where the commotion's going on. And you'll be glad to know that Brent has got some signal in the area of the lions, but he just can't see the lions, sadly.
Yes, unfortunately the Styx Pride and Styx Cubs are just over the crest, so as we get close to them the signal disappears, so we had to leave the area, but hopefully they'll move into a better area for the sunset safari. So we're going down the Chitwa airstrip at the moment, and apparently Tingana was around this area last night, so we're going to do a quick loop through, check around the Chitwa Dam, see if we can find Mr. Tingana. Now, it seems it's one of those weird mornings where it gets colder later in the morning. The wind's picked up a bit. There's a slight bit of moisture in the air, sort of spitting ever so slightly. And and you can see I'm not wearing my big hat today because in the wind like this, that big hat is a nightmare to try and keep on your head. So I had to switch to my cap. Now I got to see my little brother this morning, so that was quite pleasant. He was on game drive with his guests from Chitwa. Oh, look, this is a howling gale at the moment. But there are tracks of Birmingham males all over here at the moment. No one's found any yet, but they're going in all directions. Now, oh, there we go. Now it's really blowing. And let's have a look. and the Impala. This is that massive herd of Impala you find around Chitwa. There's a couple of big herds, but seriously impressive. There's probably close to 200 or so in this grouping. We saw them at the dam the other day, and there's some of them playing around. Lots and lots of Impala. Oh, you can just see how that wind is blowing even in the short grass. So, look at these Impala off to the right. They're enjoying the cool weather because they're nice and out in the open. So they're unlikely to be snuck upon by a leopard or a lion or a cheetah. So some of them are taking advantage of the cool weather to prance about and run about. There we go. Having the best time. I love it when you catch Impala playing like this. And sometimes one or two of them playing like this can set off the whole herd. Look at them go. Where are you going to pop out? Over there, but we're going to stop. So, isn't that wonderful? There you go, some more. Looks like coming back in from the left. There goes. It was fast. There he goes. Oh, it was putting down the pedal to the metal, coming back around. There we go. Chop, chop, chop. So some of the side adults. Oh, over the termite mound. It jumped over the hardy-dar. So some of the adults having the best time. There we go. And incoming. Chop. You can see how incredibly agile these antelope are. Lara Moore says they really do remind her of rabbits. Well, I suppose they are quick and sprightly and they can hop and skip, but a rabbit, I'm not sure. But of course, if it reminds you of a rabbit, for me they remind me of Impala. But I've grown up with more Impala in my life than rabbits, and only scrub hares. No, I lie. We used to have Natal red rock rabbits on our family farm. And yes, hares and Impala are far more common than rabbits in this part of Africa. Here we go. Well, they look like they are thoroughly enjoying the cooler weather in a nice, safe, open area. Now, I'm going to head to an area that's not so safe if you're an Impala in this weather, down around the Mulwanini River, and to see if we get lucky with Mr. Tingana, who was in and around Chitwa camp last night. Apparently he had a kill on the ground, and it was stolen by hyenas. So, unlucky for him. Riandi is wondering about the glands on the back of an Impala's legs, and they are called metatarsal glands. And there's lots of different theories about what they are for. There we go, there they are. So generally they will secrete when the Impala runs and kicks its back legs out. Some people think it's for confusing predators. I don't agree with that. And I think it's more for being able to find the rest of the herd afterwards and to rejoin. But no one's 100% sure what they are for. Okay, let's keep moving. Okay, so we're going to head now down towards the Mulwanini River system and hope for a leopard. If we get no luck here, we're going to head back towards Djuma and have another gander for Hosanna around Central Road. I think he's still in that area there with a fat belly snoozing somewhere. So Tingana has been spending a lot of time in this area at the moment. And I wonder, oh, there's a wildebeest as well. Hello. A wildebeest bull. This is his little patch of turf. He's a territorial bull, and the females will move between different territorial bulls. What month are we in now? March. March? So wildebeest rats should actually be starting towards the end of the month into April, and that's always fun to watch. All the shenanigans that go around with getting a group of girlfriends for yourself. Lots of going, going, and lots of funny noises that wildebeest make. They are funny looking creatures. Well, off he goes. Ooh, while we continue to trundle around Chitwa, let's go across to Steve, who's tracking elephants on foot.
Yes, thanks very much, Brent. The bone-chilling scream of elephant, we heard them calling. We're getting closer and closer, but every few paces, we just stop and listen. They were screaming for quite a while. It's generally something I've experienced with a breeding herd. And with a baby, breeding with a baby, either the wind is frightening them, or there's a predator nearby that's scaring them a little bit, or there's a male that's interested in one of the young females, and she's saying no. So that's the only time you really hear those screams. Obviously as well, when they smell us on foot, I've experienced that as well. Brad wants to know what's the most dangerous animal to encounter on foot. I'd probably go with elephant. Elephant is the biggest. I wouldn't say it's the most unpredictable, but it is the biggest and potentially most dangerous animal out here. So it is an animal we need to approach with caution. But the wind is in our face, which is to our advantage. Apologies for tripping there. It's to our advantage. You don't want them to know that you're coming. So we've got to make ourselves, that's why I'm whispering, got to keep very quiet. Wind blowing in our face, they don't know that we're around, and the wind might also conceal our movements, which is quite nice. But the objective of approaching elephant is to not always even to see them, just that feeling of getting close to the largest land mammal in the world is quite often enough to just to chill the bones and to really get you in touch with where you are in the moment. Because I can guarantee the only person that's thinking about anything else right now on this walk is Craig, because he's having to focus on me and actually work. Herbie and myself are breathing, listening, feeling. This is truly where we evolved from. This moving through the wilderness in the moment, foot after foot, track after track, sound after sound. This is how man erupted onto the African plains and the savannah, doing exactly this. I wouldn't say that we were hunting elephants, but moving through the wilderness, there could be anything, absolutely anywhere. Remember, folks, this is live. Anything could happen. We cannot predict what is over the next termite mound. We're jumping from one to the other to get a bit of a vantage point. But let's go over to Scott, who's got himself a leopard still, and let's see what he has for you.
Well, we've got incredibly lucky, and we did a further kind of loop around, and we've managed to pick her up. She's just scent marked, which is wonderful to see. That she is laying claim to this little section of Djuma. And how awesome that we've got this young 3.5-year-old female busy setting up shop here on Djuma. And who knows, maybe she's already carrying her a little litter of cubs. I'm not sure if she has given birth in the past, but this could well be, again, just speculations that she is in fact pregnant. We did have tracks of her and the Hukumuri male, the new male of this area, slinking about together, and maybe they were in fact mating. And imagine if in a few months' time, after their 3-month gestation, we get to see some new tiny little leopard cubs. And Patrick, you were just asking if she has been seen mating. Not confirmed that we know of, but good reason to believe that she has. She's definitely of the right age now to becoming sexually active, and very, very good prospects for some more fluff balls to be gracing us with their presence in the coming months. Puma, you'd like to know if she's feeling confident here because Hukumuri's kind of laying claim to the territory. To be honest, it's not going to make a big difference to her. Because she doesn't have any cubs, she's going to feel equally comfortable with any males that may be in the area. It's only once she's given birth that she'll start being concerned as to which male is dominant over her kind of patch. But yeah, it's the area that she's occupying is quite well suited from what we've seen, because it will fall into only the Hukumuri male's turf. She may kind of just touch into the Djuma male's territory as well, just north of our northern kind of boundary. But again, we haven't seen too much of her, so we don't know exactly how far her territory stretches just yet. Veronica, you would like to know how long are leopards pregnant for, and it's about a 3-month gestation period, so about 90 to 100 days. And it's nice and short, and what that means is that if they are unfortunate and do lose cubs, they can come into season shortly after they get lost and then give birth, again within a relatively short period of time. She's looking very hungry. You can see her stomach is completely empty. And I'm hoping that she gets lucky in securing a meal while we are alongside her. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing to share with you guys? Great. Well, we're going to stay with her and send you across to Brent with some hippopotamus.
Here we go. Under the water it goes. So, water is probably a lot warmer than where we're sitting at the moment. And we're at the Chitwa Dam, having a look for Tingana, but he doesn't seem to be out and about. Those are the same boar hippos that were chased by the elephant the other day. They've got such quizzical expressions when they appear at you out of the water. And you can see the nostrils there nice and clearly. See how they close when as it was putting its nose down, so to stop water going into its nose. Let's have a look if it does it again for us. So very nicely you can see how that hippo's nostrils work. So bring it up, there we go, open, and come on, and chop, sealed and down. It's being very obliging. Now sometimes in weather like this you might find hippos out of the water grazing during the day, because it is nice and cool. And we've got a very pretty bird in front of us, Seb. Yeah. And you see all the little swallows sitting.
Oh yeah.
Tom says the hippos are like 4-legged submarines, but there we go, just look here. And we've got some barn swallows sitting on the bank, all puffed up for the cold. Isn't that lovely? Well, there's a couple huddled together to try and defeat the cold, using the little sort of runoffs from the rain there to sort of try hide from some of the wind. Oh, look at the back there. You see that one at the back? It looks like it's a sub-adult. Hasn't quite got its full adult colouring yet. You can see it's a little bit scruffy looking. Oh, another one just landed there. Now, if we go down to the elephant dung on the edge of the water, right on the edge of the water, there, that one.
Okay.
Just off to the right of it, a little bit to the right. Here we go. Definitely one of the prettiest little waders around, the three-banded plover. And I remember seeing tiny babies here a while ago, so I wonder if this is one of those tiny babies we saw all grown up. Now, for some reason, blacksmith lapwings take offense to three-banded plovers, and we've seen them absolutely harass the living daylights out of the poor little three-banded plovers. This one's doing a bit of preening, keeping its feathers in ship-shape condition. Unag is wondering, do the fish eagles have a nest here? I'm not actually sure. There we go. Where? Seb's going to show me. They used to have one over here somewhere.
Yeah, and I'll show you one of those trees over there.
So they used to have a nest, but not currently. And I can't see any fish eagles sitting around the dam today. Oh dear. Well, what have we got? Some waterbuck. What are you looking at, waterbuck? Are you just looking? I was hoping maybe they had spotted Tingana waltzing through Chitwa. It is a magnificent spot and a beautiful place to go on safari, Chitwa. Here you can see the lodge through the trees there. So right in the heart of it, lots of leopard, lots of lion often visit the lodge. So Veronica, we've just been looking at some swallows. So Veronica was wondering, do we get swallows in Africa? Indeed we do, Veronica. There we go. Those are European swallows. They used to be called barn swallows. So that species of swallow is migratory, and they'll probably be leaving in about a month or so. And we do have quite a few indigenous swallow species that are not migrants as well. I'm just trying to think of a few now, and I've gone completely blank. But we've got lots of non-migratory swallows. Pearl-breasted, wire-tailed. Oh, just come to these ones closest to us here. I think there, to the right. Aha! There we go. There's a different species of swallow. And I'm a bit rusty on my South Africans, but I think that's pearl-breasted. But I'm completely distracted because the squirrels have suddenly started going nuts behind me. And that is definitely an alarm call, not a chatty squirrel. Why don't you guys tell me what swallow that is? Hashtag Safari Live. I'm going to go see what that... those alarm calls are going. So let's go across to Scott, who's still with the Xidulu, and let's see if we can add a leopard of our own to the fray.
Well, good luck, Brent, and I'm feeling confident that you'll do just that. Not too sure again what has got her attention. I'm guessing she may have smelt something here. It's simply too thick for her to have been able to hear or see anything in here. But she's definitely slinking about, and who knows what it is that is causing her to be so focused and intent here. Possibly a scrub hare, possibly a small antelope like a duik or a steenbok. I wonder when last she had a meal. Because it definitely doesn't look like any time too recently. I don't want to move the vehicle. Not the best views now. But let's just stay put there. She's on the move again. Ginny, you would like to know if any of the big cats may have a better sense of smell than the others here. Not that I'm aware of. But yeah, it would be interesting to know if, there is a kind of difference between lion, leopard and cheetah. I'm sure they're all quite similar. Here she's slowly edging forward. What could could it be in here? It's again just incredible testament to how good their senses are. It's so thick, and the road that she was on earlier is about 30 or 40 feet behind us, and the fact that she could detect something from that distance and kind of narrow down and start fine-tuning her search just using her nose, I'm guessing, is quite remarkable. She's definitely looking poised and ready to pounce. And I've got no idea what it is that it could be just up ahead of her there. What have you spotted, Xidulu? She's very definitely trying to be as quiet as possible, slinking ahead. And the wind is kind of blowing towards us, towards her. So, perfect conditions. I'm guessing that's what's allowing her to use the prevailing wind to work out where this thing could be. Let's move forward a little bit and see if we can't get a better view. It's always a bit of a fine balance trying to work out where to in the vehicle in a situation like this, but we're doing our best, and we're actually going to have to do quite a big loop around, so while we do that, we'll send you back across.
Thanks, Brent. I hope you managed to find a leopard there. Lucky pants on all of us today. It is St. Patrick's Day, ladies and gentlemen, so who knows what could happen. There's a party happening with leopards all over the place as we speak. I found a marvelous tree. This is the best example that I have so far seen in Djuma of a beautiful, beautiful tree known as a brown ivory. It is growing here on a termite mound with a very, very good example of a low-felt milkberry. But what we found, or what Herbie found anyway, are these beautiful fruits. Oh, well, let me just navigate the asparagus here. These little fruits of the brown ivory, they are quite a delicacy. When they're yellow like this, they're nice and ripe. When they're green, they're quite sour. So, marvelous morning. It's actually, what did you say, Craig? That's very sweet. Very nice, and there's the pip. Quite large. So birds will love this, monkeys. And the seed is quite large. It's also quite sticky. Is it? Well, not that sticky. I'm not going to stick to the tree. It sticks to my finger. So actual transport. That is actually marvelous, Craig. Would you like another one? I'll save two for you for after the segment. Very, very nice when they're ripe, and this would be a bonanza for birds and monkeys this time of year. Here we have the low-felt milkberry. The other morning, I found a milkberry, and then I lost the milkberry. Vegas, you want to know if we can grow our own food and herbs at camp? A lot of places do. Sometimes it's difficult with monkeys and baboons. You have to completely section off an area to be able to grow, otherwise they will come in and destroy it. So that would mean in the long term you need budgets, you need to put that all in place. Something I know we want to do, I know up in the Masai Mara we do grow a lot of food up there, but there doesn't seem to be too much problem with the monkeys and apes up there. But up here, there will be a problem. We'd have to enclose it in a big cage. So here is the milkberry. I do apologize. The other day I did find one of these examples, and then I lost it, and then I found another example which I actually identified incorrectly. It was actually the bushveld gardenia. So I do apologize for those of you out there who are watching this segment. This is the low-felt milkberry, and the fruits of these, when they are ripe, are absolutely delicious. They taste like vanilla milkshakes. So on this termite mound, an absolute smorgasbord of food and fruits to be eaten, and this is the best and biggest example of the low-felt milkberry. As you follow it up there, best example I've ever seen. Absolutely fantastic. So birds would love living in this tree. I'm sure monkeys do come and frequent Perfect for a leopard as well, to just hoist a little bit of meat. But sorry about the elephant, folks. We had their audio before. They were screaming and shouting last time we chatted. We're trying to keep up with them, but they just seem to have vanished. So there's been no further update on their movements. Let me find my stick before I lose it again. We're going to continue on. We're still jumping from termite mound to termite mound. As soon as we find some fresh tracks of these animals, we will get back to you. But as it seems like they've just run away. We have no idea why. Okay, well, while we try and navigate not falling down of this termite mound, let's go over to Scott with a leopard who's giving him the runaround.
Yes, she's making our lives quite interesting this morning, and very, very, I think, fortunate to have this challenge to keep up with her as she goes about her business. Nothing better than having one of the big cats on the move, especially considering how much time they spend sleeping every day. This is absolutely pure gold. And it looks like she could well come and slink straight past us here. Shame, Xidulu, not too much food evident here. But again, it is thick, so we could be pleasantly surprised at any moment. Lynn, you'd like to know, why does the leopard hold its tail up so high when it's walking? I've been quite surprised that she was doing that. Usually leopards will do that once they have been seen, and once animals start alarm calling, they almost kind of put their tail up as a form of a surrender, just to say, guys, I'm not trying to hide. Here I am, I'm just going from A to B, stop shouting at me. At least that's a theory as to why they do that. How cool is this? Slinking right in front of the vehicle. And yeah, I was surprised that she was holding her tail quite high up when she was moving earlier. Not too sure why she did that. Doesn't make perfect sense. There you are. Nice big fluffy tail. Now there is another vehicle joining us in the sighting. They're going to have a tricky time negotiating this thick bush with their bigger vehicle, so I'm just going to have to chat with them on the radio and just let them know exactly where we are. I can hear his vehicle approaching. Abel, I've got your audio. Keep coming. So Pauline, you'd like to know, how big can female leopards get? Well, 50 to 60 kilograms would be considered quite a big female leopard. I'm guessing she's probably around 40 odd. Abel, we're directly west of you now in the block. So yeah, she's still got some growing to do. I'm sure by the time she's about 5 or 6 years old, she'll be in her prime. So she's got a little bit more growing to do. And again, it will depend on the area that you're in. Leopard sizes can vary quite greatly depending on exactly where they are, and of course the genes. Even in this area you'll get leopards of varying sizes, both male and female. Sorry, Abel, go again. She's kind of turned a little bit more west now, but she's moving very slowly. Yeah, maybe just stand by for a few minutes and I'll update you as to what she decides to do. She's stationary for the time being, but planning a move. Shame, always a little bit tricky in situations like this. The poor guide he initially was rushing to join us, and then we lost her, and then he decided to go into another area. Then we relocated her, and then he was kind of umming and ahhing because he was quite far away and deciding whether it would make sense for him to come here. And as soon as he started his journey, she veered off the road and into this tricky area. Okie dokie. Well, Brent hasn't found his leopard just yet, but he has found a big lone ellie bull.
Oh, it is a lovely little ellie bull. At this age, they are absolutely wonderful to spend time with. Now, he could be on the peripheries of a bigger herd, but we've only got visuals of him at the moment. There you go. So he looks like he's enjoying the cool weather, not too worried about the wind. Normally it's the females with little ones that are get a bit uppity when the wind is blowing. Let's just get a little bit closer to him. And he's feeding on marulas under. And rampaging elephant. There we go. Elephant for you. And Gizmo was wondering, are elephants the largest mammal?
Welcome everyone. Apologies for being rushed away from Brent. He obviously lost his signal. And we're still just keeping a beady eye on this leopard. She seems to be keeping a beady eye on something just ahead of her. Again, I'm not sure if she's detected anything for certain, but she's definitely kind of increased her focus. No, now she seems to be at ease again. Again, it's very easy for her to get confused in this windy conditions, because anything she might think is prey moving could just be leaves blowing in the wind. So any kind of movement like that might catch her attention might be false alarm. Abel, she is heading straight towards Aubrey's now. We're not too far away. Yeah, good idea. So he said he's going to take one more chance. He's already taken 2 chances this morning, and I'm hoping his third chance is going to put him in a position where him and his guests get lucky. Now the rain is beginning to fall here, which is going to complicate things slightly. We may have to try and get out our raincoats to cover everything up, but for now we are kind of okay. It's just a light kind of pitter-patter, so nothing too serious. But of course we've got lots of fancy equipment that makes it possible to keep you guys alongside us every step of the way, and we don't want to take any chances in frying any of that equipment. Okay, let's keep moving. When she moves, we move. And so we got so lucky in relocating her. I'd kind of given up hope, just taking one last ditch attempt where we could get lucky. Very good. Well, we're going to keep doing our best to stay with this fine lady and send you back over to Brent, who's managed to get some signal with the elephants.
So you guys, not sure what happened there. Some gremlins creeping in, but we're still with this lovely little elephant bull munching upon marula trees. Marula fruit. Sorry, I heard the game drive radio telling me 3 male lions, and I was listening, but it sounds like they're voca males, and they crossed back into the Magnoleti. Oh dear. I think we're going to have to put some rain covers on Bex. Unfortunately, it's starting to come down quite hard. So we're going to have to make a run towards camp to put the roof on. And as the elephant is sniffing up the marula trees. So while I rush to put rain covers on, let's go back to Steve, who's hiding from the rain under a tree.
Yes, thanks, Brent. It's not raining very hard. It's just drizzling slightly, so we're just taking a little bit of respite under this tree and see what the weather does. If it starts raining a little bit harder, we'll just rush back onto camp and then go set up the tent. But while we do, we're just sitting here underneath a beautiful red bush willow, which is easily characterized by the tips of the leaves, as we've spoken about before, the little twist in the tip of the leaf. Marvelous. If we had some hot water now, we can make ourselves a beautiful little cup of hot tea. A nice day for tea in this weather. You can see that tip, apiculatum. Apiculatum, beautiful, beautiful. So I was just doing some reading on the brown ivory, and what's really marvelous is if you have toothache or ulcers or bleeding gums in the mouth, the fruit juice which we were eating there actually helps to soothe that, which is quite marvelous. Not only is it flavorful, but soothing at the same time. It seems like the rain is abating. Hey, Hobie? Yep, I think the rain is slowly petering off. We're going to come out from our covers while Brent and Scott are covering themselves up from the rain. It feels like it's just going to be a slight little little drizzle, but nothing too heavy. So no fresh sign, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid, of those elephants. But we will see if we can find some. We haven't even found any fresh tracks apart from those ones. They just kind of like vanished. Maybe they weren't as close as we thought in the beginning. But that is the reality of elephants in the wind when they're calling like that. The call can come from a lot further away than you really anticipate. I'll actually show you the wind direction. You've all seen this trick before. Little scrub hair dung. I've got it there. If we just break it, you can see how strong the wind is going in that direction, and that is the direction the elephants were before. Hang on. They were that side, and their wind was blowing towards us. So we're now walking, kind of doing a loop back towards camp in case the rain or the heavens decide to open up on us. At least we're able to cover our expensive equipment and get back into the tent before we get too wet. But it's actually really nice having this nice little bit of drizzle. Hopefully it sets in. If you get a nice bit of drizzle that sets in for about a day or two, it really, really will benefit the ground. Because I mean, if you come down to sort of eye level, not eye level, but ground level, you'll see that the ground is slowly starting to dry up again. These little grasses over here, you can see the base of the grass, it's all starting to dry up. There's not too much in the way of new growth coming, but with a little bit of a flush, a little bit of rain, a couple of mils just soaking into the ground, you'll see all these grasses sort of doing their thing again, new leaves coming. But just in the last 2 weeks we've had hardly any rain, and you can see the dryness, you can see it happening right in front of your eyes. I'd love to have done a time lapse of how these things have changed in the last few weeks. But grass is quite amazing. They're preparing themselves for the dry season. They produce their leaves, they produce their seeds, as we've seen, then they drop them on the ground, and then the grass kind of withers away. Nutrients going back into the soil in preparation for fire. The fire, if it does come along, will burn the top layer of the grass here, stimulating it to reproduce again next year. And all of the nutrients, all the goodness of the grass is still in the roots. And as we've seen with the elephants this time of year, they are feeding on the tops of the grass, the inflorescence. I was busy eating some now. Let me actually grab a buffalo grass. Here we have the buffalo grass. This is what we're noticing the elephants eating. And I was busy eating some now because they're loving the seeds. And it's actually got a cucumber sort of taste to it, which is quite lovely. And this is what the ellies are eating. That's why when you see this sort of bunch here, you see where they've cut it off, completely cut off, they're feeding on the seeds. Very nice. Cucumber in the bush. Goes very nice with a bit of gin, I think. Cucumber. Oh, marvellous. So, the marula fruits that have been scoured of any of the flesh, we've got the nut inside, and we could break that open and we could get the nut out, and the beautiful, beautiful nut. One of the things to do as friendship, and Herbie and I are good friends, if you are truly someone's friend, you give them a marula nut with the nuts inside. There we go, my friend. Eh? Isn't he happy? Herbie, now how are we going to get those nuts out of there? Hey, you going to show me how we get the nuts here? Do you need a rock? How about a leather man? Will that work? I've done it before with the rock. It's very heavy, very hard. I've taken a hand axe before, smashed it on an anvil. I think some of you have seen me do that. Get a pile of them, smash them, smash them, smash them. You get that seed out from inside. It's beautiful. It's got nice oil. And if you soak the oil in water, you kind of boil it, and then you skim off the moisture, the oil layer on the top. Take that off. It's beautiful for chap lips. But now, Herbie and I are friends for life. Hey, Herbs? Okay, so it seems as if the others, Scott himself, has managed to get their rain covers on. They're protected from the rain. Very light drizzle. Let's go to him and see if he's got an update.
Well, we're okay for now. We've just covered up the essential bits and pieces and just got another view of her. She's just kind of behind that log over there, Darby. Well done. And I'm just trying to keep this other poor vehicle updated as to what's going on here, because she was so close to popping out onto a road. Now she's just changed directions again. Abel, sadly, she seems to be heading back east. It looks like she might be following something here. You can see the way she's moving, that she's got a feeling that something's here. What are you slinking off after? Kind of backwards and forwards through this vegetation. Oh, there's a hyena on the scene. Can you believe it? And I think she's just gone straight up a tree. She's taken a kill up a tree. What next? What next? Now, is there another leopard here? Because she's got some meat and she's just taken it up a tree. I can't believe it. She couldn't have caught that now. Abel, she's just taken some nyama up a tree here. What next? Now, I just can't even comprehend what's just happened. Because she couldn't have just made the kill. I mean, we just saw her trying to kill something, but she's managed to take a carcass of sorts. It must be some scraps that she was smelling. And who knows, maybe the hyena that was on the scene was busy feeding on that kill. Incredible stuff. Now, sadly, it's very thick here. Which way is going to be our best route? And okay, it's going to take us a while to get there. Hold on a second. Okay. Squeeze tight, everybody. Oh. Now, while we squeeze through here, we're going to send you across to Brent's. And I'm not too sure what's going on with him. As you can see, we're in a bit of a spot of bother.
Well, there we go. Well, fortunately the rain's abated a little bit on our way back to camp, and we've hit my most favorite traffic jam, and that is an elephant traffic jam. Look how little it is. Oh, they are so cute, baby Ellies. Tiny, tiny, probably about a month or two old. Maybe even less than a month, actually. Looking at it there, you can still see quite a lot of fur all over its little body. A nice big herd, relaxed herd. Oh, they're going to play. Let me just move forward a little bit so we can watch the little ones. That's a little. I love them at this age when they quite haven't mastered the use of their trunk yet, and everything's fun. Look at that! Come on, grab the branch. Oh, so sweet! You can see that fine hair all over its body, which is telling me it is definitely under a month old, in a couple of weeks. Oh, I do love elephants. We've got another little one right next to us on the other side, a bit older, munching on the panicum grass. Hello, you. Are you coming to say hello? Actually, if we keep quiet, you can actually hear it chewing. And you can see how it's just likes the certain parts of the grasses, and it's moving on now. Enough of that grass. It's already mowed the top parts of the panicums there. Where are you off to? Well, I'm not going to move a muscle. I'm going to stay with the elephants. It seems like Scott has managed to reposition. Let's go see what Xidulu's up to.
Yes, we have just got into position, and it looks like she's just getting comfortable doing some grooming after that exciting few moments. I still don't understand what's happened here. I mean, has a leopard just stolen a kill from a hyena? It would appear so, because this is definitely not her doing. And you can see it's clearly been fed on by something else. And as she kind of pounced and moved forward, oh, here's the hyena in front of us, Dave. This hyena came running onto the scene. And was it just coincidence that they both stumbled upon this carcass simultaneously? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. A hyena like this would be able to consume that whole duiker just about in one sitting. So I do not know what has happened here. Is there another leopard that's fled the scene? Excuse me. Who knows? But we're in luck. We've got a leopard up a tree with a decent amount of this duiker kill remaining. And I'm sure she's just going to catch her breath. It would have required quite a lot of exertion and excitement and adrenaline as she found the kill. Then got chased by the hyena all in a matter of seconds. She would have to run about 25 meters to get to this tree and then haul the kill up it. And she now knows full well that she can just relax. There's no rush. And I'm sure once she's done a little bit of grooming, she's going to start snacking. Danny, you'd like to know if leopards are always looking for prey. And yes, I think it is fair to say that. I think it's fair to say just about all of the or most of the predators around the world are always looking for a meal, because it's difficult for them to catch their prey. And again, all predators are highly opportunistic. Leopard are quite well known for having multiple kills, which indicates that even if they've got one kill and a full belly, if another opportunity presents itself, they'll be sure to do their best to take it and capitalize on those moments when they can get lucky.